Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, I got this disease where I can't stop making airport puns. The doctor says it's terminal. Today, we're taking a look at Scoville, 2nd edition by Trick or Treat Studios. In Scoville, 2nd edition by Trick or Treat Studios, you believe that you can grow and harvest the fieriest, the hottest, the best peppers in all of Scoville. Now, Scoville is having its one-day chili cook-off, and in this cook-off, they're going to have a farmer's market, they're going to have some auctions, they're going to have different recipes that you can acquire, and what you're going to do is in the morning phase or also in the afternoon phase of this game, you're going to compete with other growers, and you're going to see who can build or make the fieriest peppers out there. And whoever does the best job at that and makes those fieriest peppers is going to win the game. Now, how does it play? Let me tell you. Okay, so I'm not going to fully go into all of the rules for this game because this game has been out for quite a long time. Now, it has been out of print for a while, but there's still some rules videos on how it's actually played. So I'm going to give you a highlight of how it's played and then give you my thoughts on it, okay? So the way the game's going to begin is it's going to start off with an auction phase. Now this is skipped in turn 1, but I'll tell you how it's going to work starting from turn 2. So say turn 1 is done and you have the turn order track, and as you take your turn, you slide your disc, okay, your token up above the turn order track, okay? Now, secretly behind the screen, what you're going to do is you're going to grab a number of coins equal to how much you want to bid to try to be player 1 or whatever spot you want, okay? And then you're going to reveal those coins. Whoever bids the most, okay, they get to determine what order they want to go. So say it's a 4-player game and all 4 of you out there, and you bid the most, but for some reason you want to go last this turn. You can actually move your guy to the 4th position, okay? You're going to go last when it comes to the auction piece for getting the cards, but you're going to be able to go first for the harvest phase because of the turn order and the way things go. So you have to take that into consideration, and that's why this auction works that way. All right. Now, whoever bid the second, then they're going to figure out where they want to go, third most, and down the line. Now, if there's ever a tie, you're going to look and see who went first previously, and then they get to determine where they want to go and down the line. Okay. There's a really good write-up in the rule book on how this is done. I'm probably making it sound more complicated than what it really is. Now, once you have your new turn order, or in turn 1, whatever the starting turn order is, starting with player 1, you're going to look at the auction cards that are up on the board. And you're going to take one of those auction cards and you're going to put it behind, take the peppers that are on that auction card, you're going to put them behind your screen. Okay? So if there's 2 peppers, you may want those 2 peppers. But if there's 1 good pepper, you may want that 1 good one over the 2. Totally your choice. Once everybody has done doing that, now you're going to go to the planting phase. Now, starting with player 1, what you're going to do is and everybody has to do this, you're going to plant a pepper, okay? And you have to plant a pepper that's orthogonally adjacent to another pepper that's actually on the board. You can't put any at an angle, all right? So you're going to create these little pathways between all your little peppers, all right? Once everybody's done planting their peppers, then we're going to go to the harvesting phase. Now, starting with the last player, and this is why you may have wanted to win the auction, you're going to move your farmer first. So the first thing you're going to do is you determine what direction you want to move. Okay, because you can't reverse direction in the middle of a move unless you play a special tile, but more on those later. Okay, and you're going to move 3 spaces. Now, when you move, you're going to go from dot to dot, which is basically between 2 peppers and then between hopefully 2 other peppers. For every one of those spaces you move, whatever peppers you're between, you're going to look at the crossbreed chart and you're going to grab a pepper of that type and you're going to add it behind your screen. So that's how you're going to be acquiring these peppers. Okay. And then everybody is going to make that turn. Now, you can't go through another player, so sometimes you might want to go to a certain place to try to block people, okay? Prevent them from going to certain areas, or make them having to go around peppers and go into an open area where they don't get those crossbreeding ones and waste some turns. But you get your 3 movements on that. Now, After that's done, then what we're going to do is we're going to do, see, that was the harvesting phase. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do the fulfillment phase. Okay. Now in the fulfillment phase, and I always got to keep checking on this because there's several things you can do. There's the farmer's market, there's the chili cook-off, and then you can sell batches of peppers as well. Okay. So, and you can do one of every one of those things. And there's also plaques that you can accomplish and acquire as well. Now, the farmer's market is an area on the board that's going to say, hey, these are different farmers that are looking for certain peppers. Now, you can sell your peppers to those particular farmers, and what you're going to do is you're going to be able to gain that card, and you're going to get the bonuses on the bottom. Usually it's victory points and maybe something else. Maybe you get some other peppers along with it, okay? The other thing you can do is you can compete in the chili cook-off, and then there's the recipes that are on the side. And those recipes are telling you what peppers you have to get rid of from behind your screen in order to acquire those recipe cards. And those recipe cards are all worth a number of victory points as well. Okay, so you want to try to get as many of those recipe cards as you can because there's a lot of victory points that can be had from there. All right. The other thing you can also do is you can always sell peppers as well. Okay, you can sell at the most 5 of one particular type of pepper. And basically what it is each pepper is going to earn you $1 for every 2 of that color pepper that you currently have planted. I always have to look at the rules in that one because for some reason I can't get it straight. So if you have, several peppers planted of one color, then and you have several of those behind your screen, then you can sell those peppers, and that's kind of a way to get money. All right, so it helps you do that. Now, once everybody's taken their turn and everyone's got done with the fulfillment stage, then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the time check. Now, if it's morning time, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the recipes and see how many are left. Now, if there's less recipes left than there are players in the game's going to instantly be over with. Okay, it's very rare that happens still in the morning phase, but it can. Just so you know, I mean, if a lot of easier recipes come out, you never know. But if there's equal to or more recipes, then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the market, and you're going to look and see how many market cards are available. If there's a number of market cards or greater than the number of players, then you're going to play another market or a morning phase. Okay. If there's less market cards than the actual number of players, then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the afternoon phase, in which case you're going to get rid of all the market cards, and you're going to put a whole list of afternoon market cards on there. Okay, you're going to get rid of the morning auction deck, leave the auction cards that are there, because you should have replaced those after the auction. I forgot to tell you. All right, but you're going to get rid of the morning auction deck. Okay, and so then after this next turn, what you're going to do is you're going to draw from the afternoon auction deck, and then those are a little bit better peppers, kind of speeding the game up a little bit more. Okay, and then you're going to start another round. Okay, so then you're going to go back to the beginning, and you're going to go back to your auction, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to bid, see who's on the auction. You're going to figure out what turn order you're going to go in. Then you're going to do your planting. You're going to do your harvesting. Then you're going to go back to the fulfillment phase. And this is going to keep going and going and going until finally there's less recipes than the number of players and or less market cards than the number of players. If it's less recipes, the game's just going to instantly end. You're going to go to final scoring. If it's less market cards, I do believe you play one more turn, and then the game is just going to end. And then you're going to go to final scoring. Okay. When you get to final scoring, then you're scoring all the points from your market cards. You're scoring all the points from your recipe cards, any awards plaques. Okay. Now, awards plaques, I didn't talk about those. Awards plaques you can get. They're down on the bottom of the board. Okay. They're little cards. And if you plant like 3 peppers of a certain kind, then you're going to get that rewards plaque. If you plant like a ghost pepper, you're going to get the rewards plaque. Now, the victory points on those cards, they're a stack, and it's going to be higher at the first card. So the first person that does this is going to get more victory points, and then less victory points for the next one. Or I think there's some of the cards there's 2, some of the cards there's 3. Okay, it all depends. The easier ones there's 3, the harder ones there's 2. Okay, and whoever has the most points. Or you're going to get your points for those. Now, the one thing I didn't talk about is your bonus action tiles. Okay. Now, you're going to get 3 bonus action tiles that you can actually use during the game. And if you don't use those tiles, they're each worth 4 victory points. So it's 12 victory points. Technically, you are going to be giving up if you use them all, but you may need to. One of them is going to let you plant 1 extra pepper per turn. Okay, and now that may come in handy if you know that you're going to be able to go a certain area and you need a certain pepper, and you can get that crossbreeded pepper. So you may need to use that. One's going to let you move 1 extra step. You're going to get that 4th step. Okay, one's going to let you double back once, which means you can go forward, turn around, and come back. Okay, you may need that as well. All right, so it just all depends. If you can, avoid using them, get the 12 points, great. If you have to use them, but it's going to help you later on, you're going to get more points. You know what? It's your game. You do the math, you figure it out, and you have fun with it. Okay. But after all that's done, for every $3 you have in your bank still or behind your screen, you're going to get 1 victory point, and then whoever has the most victory points at the end is going to win the game. Okay, so that's just a really rough idea of how to play this game. I didn't really scratch the surface, and I didn't actually really talk about the expansions, because I'm going to cover the expansions here in my final thoughts and let you know what I think about them. Okay. Now, the first expansion I want to talk to you about, it's actually the Labs expansion, and that was an expansion that was in the original game. Okay, that was the one that I know they did come out with, and I have that, and I've played that, and it's actually a really cool expansion. What that's going to do is it's going to give every player, it's going to give you another lab board. Okay, and that lab board has got a place where you can plant 9 peppers. Now, during the planting phase, when you do your mandatory plant of your pepper in the field, you can also plant a pepper in your lab board. Okay. Now, you're not moving on the lab board, but basically what happens is the first pepper you plant, you can put anywhere on that little board, that little tile. Okay. And then in subsequent rounds, whenever you plant a pepper adjacent to another pepper, then you instantly get the crossbreed. So for example, say you have, a middle section or an upper section, you have peppers and those, you put one right in the middle, you got 2 crossbreeds right there. You're not going to crossbreed the diagonals, okay, only orthogonally, but you'll be able to get those 2 peppers. Once that board's totally filled up, then you're done planting on that board. You can never sell anything on that board, and it's just basically a way for you to get more peppers a little bit faster, and it kind of helps speed the game up just a little bit more. Okay, but I think the Scoville Labs expansion, I think, is actually a really fun expansion, and I actually enjoy it. Okay, because it does speed the game up. Now, the other one I want to talk about is the Lone Reaper. That is the solo mode to this game. Now, this I thought was really cool because it's only, if I remember right, like 20 turns or something like that, or 10 rounds. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't actually remember. Draw totally 10. It's 10. There we go. We got 5 morning cards. We got 5 afternoon cards. And basically what you're doing is you got 5 random cards from each one, and you're still doing the auction, but the auction plays a little bit different. So what happens in the auction is you're going to pick a card, and you're going to be able to take that pepper and put it behind your screen. But the other card that's there is that card there, you're going to plant those 2 peppers, okay? And you're going to put them wherever you want. Now, the other thing, too, about this one is when your farmer moves, he's going to move 4 steps instead of the 3, okay? So not only you're going to be planting peppers, but you're also going to be planting the additional peppers from the auction, and it's going to give you that many more choices, and you got to figure out how to do things. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to have a stack of your morning and afternoon cards, all 10 of the cards, and they're actually going to be over on the there's a little slice. So the back side of the board has this, and every turn you're going to be flipping one up. And these are objectives that you want to try to complete every round, because they're constantly going to be sliding off the board or moving towards the end of the board. Now, if you complete them in the first couple spots, you're going to get a couple extra bonus points. If you complete them in the 1, 2, I think it's the third slot, you get 0 bonus points, or 1 bonus point, you get 0 bonus points. But if they slide off of that, you can no longer do them, and you get -2 bonus points for them. Okay, and the solo mode is going to end the round that you go to draw a card and there's nothing there. So you know exactly when this game is going to end. Okay, and the whole point of this game is to see how many points you can get. That's it. You're going to score anywhere from 0 to 250 plus points. 250 plus is, you're the Reaper of Ages. I think I scored like 130 some points. I did horrible, but I forgot a couple of the rules, and I just math. I was just struggling on it. Okay. But what's cool about this one here is when you look at the objective cards that you're going to be able to complete, you have 3 different tiers of them. All right. You have an easier on the bottom, then you have the middle one, then you have the top one, which is going to give you more victory points. And then you have this pile of these little flame counters that are going to have 0s, 1s, and 2s on them. All right. So whenever you complete one of those objectives, you put the card off to the side, and and depending on whether you did the what row it was in for your bonus points, 2, 1, or 0, you're going to take that token and you're going to put it on the line of where you completed it, so you can easily go back and you can see which ones you've completed. Okay, and that's all there is. So the solo mode is actually, I think the solo mode is really fun with this game. I actually enjoy it, and it's a really good way to learn this game. And it plays, to me, different enough to where you're kind of competing with yourself and you're trying to complete those objectives is really good. So I like the solo mode. But the multiplayer mode, what do I think about the multiplayer mode? Now, the multiplayer mode in this game, I think is phenomenal, okay? And the more people you play with, I think the better this game gets. And the reason is because you have this field that you're planting all your peppers in. But the thing is, if you only have 1 or 2 farmers out there, you're not running into each other very much. But if you got 4, 5, or 6 farmers out there, you're running into each other a lot. You're creating diversions, and you're running out of places to go. Okay, you have to go to areas that you didn't want to go because farmers are blocking you from getting to different things. You're now competing more for those recipe cards. You're competing more for those market cards. And the number of market cards that come out, the number of recipe cards that come out, I mean, especially at higher player counts, is huge. There's tons of them. So you're definitely going to have a lot of variety to play with. But I really like it. Now, as with most games, when you start getting to 4, 5, and 6 player count, you're going to have a little bit of downtime. All right, because when someone's taking their turn and they're moving their farmer around or whatever, and you're trying to figure out where you're going to go, you almost have to wait until a couple of people go and it's almost your time, and then you can figure out what you want to do. So there is a little bit of downtime there, but the auctions I also find get more intense. Now, I mean, if you're player 6, boy, you're just like, you see those peppers that you want, you see those auction cards you want, and you're like, oh, I really want it, but I know I'm never going to get it, and you get the really cruddy one. But next time, maybe you might want to try to win that, take first player so that you can win that auction. Now, the nice thing is you always know the auction cards are going to be coming up, because as soon as the auction's done, you're supposed to reveal, and I didn't say this earlier, you're supposed to reveal the next set of auction cards is going to be there. So even before you start planning, you already know what the next auction is. So you already know what's going to be coming out, what you can try to get. Now, I will say this. One thing about this game is the further into this game you go, the longer into this game takes, the more AP you get with this game, because now you're looking at that cross-reference sheet. Now you're looking at those market cards. You're looking at those recipes. You're figuring out, how am I going to get these peppers by what's out here in the field, okay, and what I have on my board, how am I going to be able to plan them? And so you're constantly looking at that chart. You're constantly trying to figure out where it's going to go. So the AP kicks in a little bit more. So towards the end of the game, the downtime can be a little bit more. So, do I recommend the game at 5 and 6 players? It's really up to you. Give it a try. That's all I can say. I think this is a great game at 3 and 4 players. I've actually never played it with more than, I think, 3. I think I've played it with 4. 5 and 6, I've never really had a desire to play it with. Okay, I just haven't, and I just haven't had that many people that back when I used to play this all the time, that were willing to play, okay, or wanted to play the game at that point. So, but I think it's highly playable. And boy, I tell you what, I think with a 6-player game, I think that's going to be a chaotic harvest field. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's definitely one of those things that, I would love to play and I'd love to try. Okay. Now, if you have the first edition of the game, do you need to get the second edition of the game? That depends. If you never want to play this game solo, I would say no. Absolutely not. The components are a little bit different. I know the board's a little bit different in the second edition game. There's actually a 4-panel border, and then the harvest is the middle piece, whereas in the first edition is just 4. Okay, just the 4 panels, and the harvests are sections all built into the corners. I think some of the cardboard is a little bit heavier in the first edition than the old TMG one than there is in the second edition one. You get wooden components in the first. They're all plastic components here in the second. But honestly, I had 0 problems playing the second edition's game. I thought all the components in this game were perfectly fine for me. So if this is a game that's ever interested you, if this is a game you wanted to get back when TMG originally had it, but you never got it before it went out of print, I highly recommend picking up this game. Okay, I absolutely recommend picking up this game. I think this is a great game. I think this is a super fun game. Now, what's my rating on this game on Cody's scale? I'm currently setting the game where I had my original game, and it's still about a 7.5 for me. However, I'm going to play this solo mode a couple more times, and I want to see if I can get a little bit better at it. And I just want to experiment with that one a little bit more. But I can see this game actually jumping up to an 8 for me just because of that solo mode. It's a fast game. It does not take that long to play that solo mode. It's like I said, it's only like 10 rounds. You can set the game up relatively quick. and it was a lot of fun. So, like I said, 7.5. I can see it maybe going to an 8, and there you go. That's my rating. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. We please ask that you like this video on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, and on X. We also please ask that you subscribe to us on all those channels as well. And please leave us a comment on any one of those platforms. We do like to listen to what your comments are. We do like to interact with you folks. And we enjoy your opinions on these videos as well. What do you think about them? Or heck, give us your own bad jokes. We like those as well, okay? And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the content that we provide you here, we humbly ask you click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. You know, I took a course to learn how to be a DJ, but I barely scratched the surface.
I just get to place one beforehand.
It doesn't say it's his turn.
It's not as his turn?
No, it just says he's place.
He just gets to cheat.
This guy.